Mike.
And we are live. Welcome. We ready?
Let's do it.
These
First
trolls.
shot. First shot.
First shot.
You
I've been
screwed
doing
up.
it
You
first
screwed
shot.
up
I did
last
last week.
week. No,
First
last
time
week
in
you
a long
screwed
time.
up. You gotta
I
redeem
know.
it. You gotta redeem yourself.
Welcome to the Apex Strengthcast with your hosts, Tyler Seabrook and Anthony Krasner. This Strengthcast is brought to you by Apex Strength, strength training for everyone. Today we have Kevin Gray, longtime friend, one of our lifters, or one of my lifters, and one of the world's heaviest pound-for-pound squatters. He squatted 245 kilos, weighing 57 kilos. Absolute beast, unit, and all-around nice guy. Kevin.
I thought he was number one.
Nah, there's been, I think, this heavy
Someone
pound-for-pound
broke it.
squatter.
Did you have it at some point though?
Yes.
Number one
In the IPF he did.
Yeah, in the
in
IPF I did.
So number one Wilkes for the pound.
Number one,
squat.
pound-for-pound squat.
It's impressive.
What's up, Kev? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm privileged to be on the Strengthcast. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
We've just found out he's only ever watched one episode, by the way, so that was all bullshit.
Hey, but he enjoyed that one episode.
Yeah, it was really good. Never thought I'd be on here.
Oh, yeah, does it feel good? How's it feel at the top?
Yeah, you were probably like, oh, I was wondering, when that was going to happen. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kev. What got you into powerlifting and any prior sporting experience
Don't worry,
beforehand?
You'll loosen up in 5 or 10 minutes. It's always a bit nerve-wracking. Kev was wouldn't stop talking a few minutes ago, and then as soon as we started going live,
as soon as you put a mic in your
he's
face,
gone a little bit quiet.
Yeah.
So, sorry, what was the question?
No pressure.
All right, so Kevin, did you have any sporting background before you started powerlifting?
Well, I was a bit of a cardio bunny before this. I did a lot of endurance sports. I did endurance cycling. I did 100k bike races. I did a lot of bike club racing. My biggest race was 160k around the lake, which was Lake Taupo in New Zealand, which was really cool. Never thought I'd get into that, but a mate of mine challenged me to do it because he didn't believe I could do it. And my first go was to beat his time. I beat him by half an hour my first go, and the next year I beat my own time by an hour, and I got 1600ths out of 6,000 riders, so I was pretty stoked for that.
That's really good.
Dude,
Yeah, and that was only my second year in cycling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, when you push your body to these extremes, and then you're like, oh, I didn't realize you could do that. And then you just keep pushing it and keep pushing it. And then obviously, after that, you decided to use your fast twitch fibers for something else? Or?
Yeah, after that I started running. I absolutely...
So nothing. I was expecting I went in and squatted 180, but
No, I actually started running. I hated running. And so I thought I want to try and get good at this because it's something I really hated to do, but I wanted to actually try doing trail running, which was running over mountains and stuff. And it was actually really cool because you got to see a lot of views you would never see in a car or anything. And
True.
we had a group
weird way to look at cardio, but all right.
And I had
Weird flex.
had a group of us doing it, so I decided to do it. I did. It was a 5-run series in 5 months, so 5 half marathon trail runs in 5 months. I did 4 of them in the 5 months because I was in Australia seeing my now wife in one of them, so I missed one. And my goal was to
Sounds a bit like training now.
Typical.
Yeah, so my goal was to get under 3 hours, and I did that twice, which was really good considering
Nice.
my stride's about half to every other stride. If a proper running stride, I probably quarter, but I didn't let that stop me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I think those sports really build me up mentally because the only way you can finish if you're either dead or actually want to pass the finish line, because that was the only way I was stopping, and that really taught me a lot mentally.
So you think about it. So you're saying your running stride's probably like, you know, a third or a quarter of all the other people's running strides.
Yeah.
Like, how much harder, how many more steps you're taking through, like, you're literally doing, like, what, like, I don't know the math, I've just blanked. Like 3 times the work of everyone else.
So I actually wore a pedometer, and I compared it to my mate. He was just under 6 foot, and he was doing under 20. He was doing under 20,000, and I did about 35,000 steps. And it was really interesting to see what happened, and it just shows you I was just about running a full marathon equivalently.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was good though for mental, because the pain you go through is unreal. Like, I've never experienced anything like that ever. And just, I know squatting, what I do, it's painful at the time, but it's only 1 rep. It's not 30,000 reps type thing.
Yeah, I have the utmost respect for marathon runners, man, because there's one thing, you know, we do a set of like 10 and we're like, oh my god, I was in so much pain, but like, imagine trying to be in pain for hours.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole nother level, and it's a different sport in the sense that mentally it's very difficult for them, because obviously pushing through those barriers.
You hear people complain in powerlifting, they do like a 4-hour competition, like, it's such a hard day.
Yeah, it's like one day every like maybe 20 weeks or like.
I'm going to war. It's such a hard day. You get, they post online, I'm going to war. 4 hours in. Oh my god, I'm so tired. They have I had to deadlift at 9 o'clock.
So I just have to clear something up. When you were cycling, if you had a bike track and a road, which one would you be riding on?
What do you mean?
He's just trying to call you out. He's trying to call cyclists out, bro.
If there's a bike track and a road, would you be riding on the road or the bike track?
Don't worry, cyclists get pissed off at other cyclists who don't obey the rules. But yeah, I'd be riding in a bike lane. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. Just want to know what kind of man you were, you know?
Spends millions of dollars for these roads to be made how they are, and
well, no, that is safer, and it's just, you know.
Yeah.
I
don't trust him to why people have to go 3 abreast on like city roads and stuff.
Or like going through red lights.
Yeah, it's really dangerous.
Oh, I'm gonna get angry now.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Before we go too off track.
Anyway,
before we all get too heated, because I can see it's going to do and then we'll bring up politics. We'll be here for like 3 hours.
Yeah, pull those statistics up. Right?
Pull that shit up, Jamie. So, what got you into powerlifting? Why, after all this running, what is it that attracted you about strength sports?
I actually really hated squatting. I couldn't stand it. Like, I hated where the bar sat on my back. I didn't squat 100 till about 3.5 years ago, and I didn't even want to do it ever again, because I just hated the pain that was on my back, and I just didn't like it. And then when I came to Australia, I met up with a personal trainer, and they started me squatting, and I started getting comfortable with it again. And I think I got up to 165 just in runners.
So like 3 times body weight.
Yeah, I was weighing at 49 kilos then. And I never thought anything of it. Like, I never factored my body weight to how much I was lifting. I always factored the end number. Like, I thought, oh, it's only 165, you know. And but then when I did my a guy introduced me, told me about a powerlifting comp run by VDF PA.
Oh, that's like Victoria Drug-Free Powerlifting.
Yeah, powerlifting. I don't even know if it's still going.
50 members.
Yeah,
like 30
I think
members.
I haven't seen much of them lately, but I decided to do it as novice comp to see what it was like. Never thought much of it, and since it was my novice comp, the total didn't count. So I squatted, like, my nerves were so high there. I messed up my first 2 squats, and then I got my 3rd squat like it was nothing. It was 150, and I weighed in at 50, and and that was just sleeves and no sleeves. Just I had a belt on. That was the first time I ever used a belt.
Good time to add in a new piece of equipment. Comp there, everyone. Tips from one of the best squatters in the world.
Yeah, and shock the body, man.
And so I ended up going through this comp, and I actually won by Wilkes anyway, but by the point system, and I didn't think anything of it. Then about a month later, I got a phone call from my ex-coach, Dean Morby, and he told me, "Do you realise what you've done?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "You've squatted over 3 times body weight." And I said, "So?" And he's like, that is unreal in the powerlifting world. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I didn't know that." And then I started looking at all the records and stuff like that, and I never thought I would be where I am today. Like, I thought 185, because that was the current Australian record. I thought that was a big ask, and I got that at my second comp, and that was when I did 222 and a half, bet the record by 34 and a half kilos, and yeah, I never thought I'd be that far down the track within 6 months, and then getting my world record within 10 months of starting, which is probably unheard of.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Well, and yeah, like, just to, you smash a record by like 5 kilos, 7. Everyone's like, "Oh man, that's like, ooh, that's a distance." You come in and smash it by 30 something kilos.
It's good signs for the future.
What is it that you enjoy about powerlifting though? Just being strong as hell?
Yeah,
Like,
I like the rush of lifting heavy. Like,
feels good, doesn't it?
Oh shit, yeah, it's awesome.
It's like a drug.
Yeah, and it's really cool just seeing the bar sitting in the rack and it's bending. It's like, it's pretty cool. Like,
yeah, but then you got a Leco and then you couldn't bend it anymore.
It's one of those things though, like, and I know you don't think about actual pound for pound strength a lot, but it's ridiculous like what you do. So I program you working sets, and I'm like 5x4 on 200 kilos, and it's almost like you're doing 5 sets of 4 on almost 4 times body weight, or just under 4 times body weight. Yeah. Like, and you don't think about it, like, because you do squat so much. So you last comp you did 250 on your third, and then just dipped a little at top, what we call for downward movement after like lockout. Massive squat coming this year, but not only is it a big squat, like, it's literally, I think there's only a handful of people squatting like that much, like, in comparison to their body weight, raw especially. Like, you think, like, just in knee sleeves and a belt as well, not wraps, not anything. Like, it's it's just so far removed from what you see every day. And that's the thing though, like, and that's when I posted on the Instagram though, I was like, "Have you heard of Kevin Gray?" Because, like, you've got, like, how many followers on Instagram? Like 600, 500? Yeah. Like, not that many for someone that squats, 5 times body weight, 4.5 times body weight. Yeah, it's great. So you just get some people walking around that are just so strong, and people will hear about you. You don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, but eventually.
Yeah, it's crazy, because I remember when I first saw you, I was like, "Man, this guy must be, like, so popular." And I think at that time you had like 200 followers, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, this guy's doing things that no one else can do. Like, no one else in Australia, as far as I know, is lifting anywhere even close to that. I mean, in the IPF, no one's really doing that."
It's so, like, social media driven. So if you don't have a big presence in social media, you're going to struggle to get that popularity.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And we've seen this with Cal. In terms of
Callum Potter, UFC this weekend.
Jiu-jitsu martial arts guy who just got into his first fight in the UFC in Melbourne here, and he struggled for a long time because his social media presence wasn't there. As a dad, like, he didn't grow up with social media like, say, we've kind of grown up with it. Yeah. Even for yourself, like, how old are you now?
34.
34. So even you missed that first decade that we got.
You'll be a master soon, mate.
Oh, I might get a total record then.
You'll get a total record.
But I think, and especially when you do things like this as well, like, and
you watch the podcast that you go on. That's a big thing.
It's probably because I'm doing less booty pops and all that sort of stuff. Showing my cleavage or anything like that.
Well, actually, you know what? Like, all you need to do is release some, like, nudes that say that, like, leak them yourself. Like, I don't know how someone, but they're going to be tasteful. I'll take them for you today.
Like, you also got to send your, like, obviously competition squats and stuff into powerlifting pages and that, because they love sharing, like, crazy things, like, 5 times bodyweight squat, because that is incredible. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not many people in the world can do that. So, yeah,
But
that definitely.
It's not a
impressive.
massive reason why you do it either. You do it because you just want to be strong as hell.
Yeah, I don't really like to boast on what I've done. Cause most of it I try and do for myself, and
Weird
most of the
flex,
time I want to do it for like, cause since I'm a little person, I like to show other little people that it can be done, and if or when I have children and they're little, I want to show that they're capable of doing this too, because that's one of the main things I've done. Most of the stuff I've done.
Something I think on that, and we're going to touch on that anyway, was that like, one, I'll just upfront say like, I know for a fact people wanted to ask you questions, but people, and this is what we were talking about before, people are scared of like offending you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's definitely something, you know, I bet you didn't expect to be putting up these kind of weights. And then, you know, you power through it, and all it takes is someone else, you know, in your position to see that on social media and be like, holy shit, like, I'm going to give that a crack now. Like, that's, you know, oh man, I can do that. Like, and then, you know, fuck, like, you've just literally changed their lives.
Yeah, well, I've noticed all of a sudden there's been a few new faces like that are short-statured come into it, probably because social media is actually showing these people. They've probably been doing it for a little while. And
It's that American guy, that just did 230-something for 5.
Yeah, Mike Coons. He's a massive lifter. Me and him have been talking quite a lot, and he's got a lot of experience. He's I think he's been doing it for close to 15 or 16 years or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I only heard of him, I think last year. You were talking to me about him and sent me some of his videos when he did, I think, 220 for 5 or 220-something for 5 at the time.
He, today he did 245 double.
Oof.
Yeah. And that's very impressive.
Yeah.
And so when I watch his videos, it gives me a boost as well. Like, you know, like
you see other people out there killing it, like doing the same thing you're doing. But also, I think that like whole not putting limits on yourself is a really good thing and a good reason to do it. I mean, I couldn't imagine a better driving like motivator for myself. If you know,
exactly.
Yeah, I think so you're kind of like an idol in other words, because you didn't as such have those idols before you. You've become that idol that people will look to you, like your children will look to you. Anyone else who's short in stature as well will look to you, or anyone who's just got like something, you know, someone who's just not the average height or, you know, the average build or whatever will be like, hang on, I can do this too. And like that's what's big about powerlifting is that it's very the diversity.
There's no one good build for powerlifting. But that's the thing. Like, let's touch like on. We'll just go balls deep on this.
Well, do you face any challenges in powerlifting?
Adversity.
Like,
sport?
I've been really lucky. Like, Australia has been really diverse, and
PA's pretty good, man. The
I was just
culture's
going to
amazing.
say that, powerlifting Australia. And,
Shout out to Powerlifting Australia.
And
We'll
World
invoice you for that
Powerlifting
shout
been
out.
so welcoming, and I haven't had any issues, and all the people that are in it are awesome. That's like so encouraging on any aspects, from beginners to advanced to elite. It's awesome atmosphere. When you go watching comps, it's unreal. Like the people, like their emotions and stuff you don't see that every day. It's really cool.
But we were talking before about people calling you out online, saying it's unfair, you know, that you squat world record or squat Australian records. You know, why don't you go into that a bit, like we were touching on before the podcast? Let's head into that because, well, one, it's bullshit, but two, like people, like, you know, you aware people on it and that it is going on, and people need to call people out for it. Like, what a load of shit. It makes me angry. I'm getting mad.
Yeah, it does to me as well. Like, and that's the other thing. That's the backlash you get from all this. I knew there was going to be backlash from my world record squat, and so be it.
What kind of things were people saying?
Oh, just saying like it's unfair on the average height person and stuff like that. And I don't dwell on that. The whole world is built for average size people. Do I moan that the ATMs are too high or the door handles are too high or the freaking light switches? No, I just get over and get it done. And then that's really what gets on my nerves. And most of the people that are commented are like pencil thin and having touched a bar in their lives, and that's all they can do is make fun of other people, not actually just experience
It's no one with
themselves.
actual experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
And they're
like,
trying to make
yeah.
themselves feel better
Exactly.
by
By
like
just
tearing you down.
bringing
Be
you
like,
down,
oh,
being like, oh,
it's
you know, I
easy
could
for
do
him
that. It's those-
because
It's those I could do that people.
yeah,
you
and
know?
they're like, it's easy for him because he doesn't have to move the bar as far.
Yeah.
It's a. I
But
could do that if I was 100.
There's one thing I remember because I remember there was a Reddit thread and people were talking shit about one of your squats, and I was like, and look, we've fixed your walkout. Your walkout's
Yeah.
way better now.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, look how far, like how far he has to move. It's not that far. And I'm like, yeah, but look how little of the bar he takes up too.
Yeah.
Like he's balancing that weight. Like, you know, you got 240 kilos on your back, weighing 50 something. But if you look at when Kev squats a bar, you barely like go out from where the knurling starts, right?
Yeah,
so
my
you're,
hands are
you're
just-
balancing that, like, yeah. So, you know, you're balancing all that, and then it comes in like we were talking about before with the bench press and the deadlift. Like, so everyone wants to go, oh, look how good he is, like, look how built he is for the squat. But then, you know, what kind of challenges you have on the bench and the deadlift? Let's go into that a bit.
Yeah, like, unfortunately, I can't lock my elbows out properly. Like, I can't hyperextend them. Wish I could, but, and that's where it makes lockout really hard in bench. And it's hard to judge as well. And refs do their best to judge it right, and I totally agree with their decisions at the times anyway. And with deadlifts, I've got small hands, so grip is a major factor for me, and I haven't got the leverages for deadlifts because I've got a longer torso to my leg length.
Yeah. If you look when
brother.
if you look when Kev deadlifts, it's like holding onto a fat grip and fat bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't even go all the way around the bar, do you?
No.
Like if your hand doesn't go all the way around the
No,
bar,
I'm probably...
which is like a massive limiting factor. Like
Yeah.
imagine trying to do your max effort, your max deadlift on a fat grip.
Well, important part of training would be doing grip strength and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of like high rep, like
Yeah, that's
deficits and
exactly
stuff, which is what
yeah.
we're bringing up the grip now. But it's
Yeah.
always going to be a limiting factor.
Yeah.
What other things, you know, if you say in this sport, other sport?
Well, I was just curious, like, going to that. So a lot of like, I mean, for us, a lot of tendonitis gets sparked by the, you know, overlocking too much.
Yeah.
And like, and that's when the tendonitis kicks in your elbows. Do you get bad tendonitis or don't really get it?
I have on my right side one, like, just if I'm in my strength blocks, I tend to, like, if I've been pushing a lot.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
still get like, you still,
Yeah.
even though you like you can't fully lock out, it's
Yeah.
locked out enough that your tendonitis
Yeah.
can still get like,
Yeah.
brought on, I guess. Should
Exactly.
I say. So future goals in powerlifting.
I really want to do the all-time world record at under 60 kilos, which is 250 at the moment. Mike Coons is going to give it a nudge at the Arnold's. He's looking pretty strong.
Who's
at
got the
moment.
world record?
He's got the.
Who's got the world record?
Yeah, he's got the world powerlifting. Yeah, world record. Yeah.
Yeah.
At 247.5. Yeah. And the all-time world record is a guy, Mike Booker. It's from 2002, so that must have to be single ply. Because I don't think there was any raw back then, was there?
Yeah, but some people chose to just compete with no equipment.
It probably was with equipment though. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
How much? What's that at?
That was at 50. That was at under 60, I think.
Yeah, but what's the squat?
250.
250. Oh, that's the all-time
Well, yeah.
biggest in that. Oh man.
Well, yeah, you're gonna destroy that.
Yeah.
Should we release your attempts for nationals?
And that's the thing that people don't realize is that you're gonna have. You probably, you know, obviously stay injury free and you stay in the sport and keep training. You're
Yeah.
going to have the biggest squat in your weight division by far.
Yeah.
You're going to basically set a standard that people will be chasing, which is crazy,
Yeah.
right? What about your bench?
Who cares about bench?
Now
yeah,
totals the game.
At the double body weight bench would be nice.
You're not far off though.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what are you benching now? Is it
Oh,
in
my
the 100,
best
yeah?
is 107.5. My
107.5.
best comp is
You're
102.5.
1
yeah.
or 2, yeah. Yeah, well, you're not...
At 59.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So the 120 bench would be...
Yeah, that would be nice.
Got 120, like, yeah, 118.
118.
Now we,
Yeah.
Now we can.
Yeah, you can.
Going on that.
1 kilo jumps
Oh,
in
yeah.
world powerlifting.
Just for the people who
PA.
don't know, there's 1 kilo increments now in powerlifting Australia.
Yeah, sorry, my
and
phone's
World
gone crazy.
Powerlifting, the new rules, all 1 kilo
Yeah.
increments.
1 second.
Is your phone's having a aneurysm or? And for your deadlift,
I've done 180 before. I really want to
hold
do.
on to him.
Yeah, to hold
yeah,
on
you
to
and
it would be
Anthony
awesome.
more or less the same.
Oh,
Yeah, But yeah, I really want to hit 180 on the platform. Yeah, and I really want. I need to go into the comps a lot fitter. I reckon. I just feel like I just don't have the endurance when I get to the deadlifts.
less KFC,
Yeah, I reckon.
less beers.
Less beers too.
Well, how's your work capacity in terms of the way you train? Do you have big breaks or do you smash it out?
It depends how heavy I go. Like I try to keep within 2 minutes of each lift. If it's upper body like dips or something, I do like a 30-second break.
Yeah, so quite high intensity, like
Yeah.
in
Because I like
comparison
that.
to
I
most
like
people.
that part of it. Like just
getting
going,
that pump.
Yeah.
Getting yoked, man.
Yeah.
It's not about how much you lift; it's how good you look doing it, right? That's from the Tyler methodology.
What do you guys get on the platform for?
Yeah.
You know, I'll squat like 340 kilos, and Tyler will be there like, "Yeah, but look at my abs, look at my abs."
Yeah.
He's actually making a singlet with the abs cut out. So
I was gonna say, it's just a guy looking at my abs today, like, look at how deep they are.
yeah. Oh well, I was impressed, man. Like, you know, everyone's got to have something. Any tips for people in powerlifting and everything, say, you know, that are facing adversity and are getting called out, or, you know, are kind of like nervous or shy about doing it, or think that they can't, or not even powerlifting, sport in general? Any tips, any words of wisdom for them?
I don't know, just like I haven't really cared what other people say. I just do it, and if you know you can do it, just do it. Don't worry about everyone else, because you want to do it for you, because you're gonna regret it later on. There's no point dwelling on it. Just get out there and do it.
I tell people that all the time. Do it for yourself. Don't.
Yeah.
It's like people who go to the gym to look good for other people. It's just like, man, like, and then as soon as they, you know, they get a girlfriend or they get a boyfriend, they stop training and they go out of shape.
So
and it's like,
many clients
you
that do
see,
that,
you
man.
see that happen. So every time like someone gets like a partner, always just like, you gotta keep training, right?
Yeah, so just do it for yourself. Prove to yourself you can do it.
Yeah.
I reckon social media have really stuffed it up for a lot of people, like mentally, like seeing like the image of how people should look like and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it really,
Especially because they can make themselves look better than they actually are.
yeah.
So it's not even
filters and stuff.
a lot of times not even real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's where people are getting lost in this world now. It's like what is real and what is not.
Yeah, no, I see that. But on the flip side, again, you know, social media is good in the way that, you know,
Yeah.
like people are looking at you do these crazy weights, and that's helping them. So it's
Yeah.
like kind of like a,
Yeah.
Well,
there's
we
a-
can do this and talk to the
Yeah.
people. We can,
but not
Yeah.
like it's
You know.
inspirational for people, right? Like other people, like, you know, looking at people in the same situation, going, "Oh, I can do that." Like, you know, I could do that too. Why don't I do that? Like, so it's kind of, you know, it's a double-edged sword, right? But then you do get people altering photos. You like people like Brad Castleberry faking weights, like, you know, doing 1,000-pound
I don't get
squats.
that. I don't
Yeah,
get that.
yeah.
I was just like, what
Kevin's
is
like,
the
why
point?
don't you just squat that weight? Like,
I just
yeah. But I guess there's always a negative too, something that's good.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
in hindsight, I think social media has done amazing things.
Yeah.
You know, like how connected we can all be, and I think as
definitely.
humans we love being connected, except obviously for people who are very introvert.
it's definitely made the world a lot smaller.
Yeah, it has.
Made
But like,
everybody
it just used to
closer.
be so difficult to keep up to date with what people are doing, and now people can keep up to date with your training. People can get just learn a lot more, and
Yeah.
learn
people
in a
need
fun
to
way
know
as
how
well.
many Wheat Bix I eat for breakfast, you know? Like,
Well, no, okay, even that. So someone's diet, before they would have never known, but Anthony decides he wants to post his diet, and then people go, "Oh, that's what he eats. That's
Well,
what you need to eat to be a champion."
Robert Wilkes talks about that, and so is Mary. It's been training here lately, going on about how, like, back in the day, you know, you'd send off your $20, and then someone from America that was a big lifter would get the $20, and they'd send you a little hand-drawn program. This is how you train. One page, send it back, and maybe you'd get it. And he made a joke about someone still owing him $20 from back in the day. But it's the thing, like he goes, and then now, you know, there's just so much information, it's so accessible, which is good and a bad thing. Because then you get people coming in, like, I'm not going to name names, Will, who would come in for ages going, hey man, I want to do these things called beast squats. It's where you put your feet off angle and like you raise one heel and you squat, and you'd be like,
what the hell?
yeah. And I looked at him like, you shut the fuck up, you're an idiot. But I legit said that. I'm like, yeah, no, and I was like, stop going on Instagram. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So it is good and bad.
He does loves the Instagram.
You get, you know, lucky when you get people like, you know, Kev, who can barely use social media, so he can't look at all the crazy stuff.
Being like, you know, like a crazy good squatter, I'm actually curious. So when you first started squatting, was your form trash? Or was it pretty good?
It wasn't, like, I never held my breath. I didn't really, like...
So you didn't brace?
No, I didn't brace. So it was,
were you high barring?
I was high barring.
Putting too much on your lower back? Like
yeah,
what,
like I was never in pain, but...
Yep.
And I was actually, high barring, and I was in soft runners. I couldn't believe how unstable they are when I got Nike.
It's the first thing we do
shoes.
when people come in here, we tell them to take their shoes off because half the time they got runners on. Or,
yeah, it's actually really dangerous. I didn't really notice how dangerous it is.
And when your ankle goes, like it's all over.
Especially like the gel
it's like
heels and stuff.
Like squatting on pillows.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty. But what are the most important things you've done to improve your squat, or what your coaches have done
Get a good
to improve
coach,
your squat?
Anthony Krasner. Shameless self-plug.
Shameless
three spots available online.
Yeah, what have you done?
I played around with my grip width. I used to actually have quite a wide grip, and I noticed that when I got heavier, my upper back was quite loose all the time. And then I was watching, I watched Classic Worlds. It was actually the first Worlds I watched was with Anthony Krasner in it.
And a bad one to tune into.
And I actually missed the bloody one he stuffed up, but
that was the best. That was the best one.
Yeah, made Tyler happy.
I was watching the way they actually held the bar, especially with the smaller lifters, and I tried it for myself, and I never looked back. I found it really worked for me. Kept my upper back really tight.
Yeah.
But you do lose stability, especially with my narrow grip. When the weights get heavier, you get more whip, and that's
the other thing. Like, you know, you're the center of the bar.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about dispersing weight. Like, would it whip more with you than it would say with me?
Yeah,
because I say I'm a pretty broad guy.
Yeah, I guess
a lot
so.
more coverage of the bar. It would, right?
Because if you have a bar with just like a point, it's going to whip way more, right? Because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's put on that one spot of the bar.
Yeah, so you got.
That's another factor.
Yeah,
and I bet you cheat and use the whip though.
It doesn't work in your favour if it's out of your rhythm though.
Yeah,
it dumps you.
Oh, that's it. So here's a real question: do you think you're genetically gifted, or do you have to work hard to where you're at?
Is that a real fucking question or what? You guys squats 250, 245 kilos.
This is not my question. This is something you wrote down.
Yeah.
Did I? Oh, these are they?
Yeah.
Can I have a look at that, please? What'd you say?
What'd you say?
What'd you say? Do you want to go 10 rounds at the kicking?
Don't we knock you out again?
Again, it was that time when I passed out because I hit him and there was so much blood. He calls that a knockout.
Oh, blood! Oh no.
Like, I'm gifted in a way. I've got.
I want the answer to the question.
Like, I don't know if it's called gifted because I am mechanically gifted, I suppose, like biomechanically, because of my short femurs. I have short levers for the squat, but that's the only thing. I still have to work my ass off in the gym because not everyone can just chuck 4 times your body weight on their back and just squat it without any work.
Well, no, I can't imagine what the pressure is like, what it feels like having 4 times your body weight in the back now.
Exactly.
I'm a big fat boy, but you know, I'm still not even at 3 times body weight. I'm not too far off, but I can't. I'm like, that'd be crazy. Now add another.
I know that.
Body weight.
Oh,
that's the thing. Like, it's just like most people, like I'd say very few people could imagine the kind of how that would feel to have over 4 times your body weight on your back and stand up with that.
It's definitely a lot more realistic for lighter weight classes as well.
Yeah, of course. Like, of course, that's why you need things like the Wilks score, you know, the new IPF score. Like, there's no bias there from me.
I just shivered.
Yeah, like, it's like saying Voldemort in Harry Potter. You know, like, you're definitely gifted for the squat. But, I mean, I do your programming. I know you train hard. Like, you know, tell them, like, I mean, you're doing, like, sets of 18 on 120, 130 kilo squats. Like, and they're not easy, cruisy sets. Like, you do push yourself a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And you didn't just walk into the gym and squat 200 kilos.
No.
You had to work hard to get to that.
Being consistent, having a good coach, and being taught proper technique is probably the 3 biggest things. Yeah, people can lift big weights with shit technique, but then they can injure themselves and they probably won't lift ever again.
That's part of the game as well. So genetically built to, you know, withstand injuries, which I always like talking about. You know, Anthony being like he had to jump and then land to just snap his quad because the guy just does not hurt himself.
I didn't snap it. I slightly tore it.
Yes. I was exaggerating. Yeah, no, it's very true that, like, basically, you know, the answer I was looking for anyway, and the answer that I'm assuming Anthony was the fact that you do have to work hard, even though you are, you know, gifted in one of the lifts. But then most people are. Most people have a better lift and a worse lift. And you know what's impressive? When you get those other 2 lifts up to a point of, like, you know, when you start winning on total, that's when everyone will be like, oh, shit.
Well, here's the thing, like, and this is the reality, like, any half-decent coach is going to be able to get Kev to squat heavy weight, right? But, like, you're totally right. We got your bench up, 10 kilos in, 15 weeks?
Yeah.
Which is good because it's not like you just started lifting.
Yeah.
You know, we got your deadlift a lot stronger. Just need to hammer out that grip. But, like, realistically, with any kind of structured training, you're going to be a heavy squatter. It's like you're doing everything else up, which isn't a bad thing. Like, fucking also use it. Like, I'm saying my total is carried by my squat. You know, and now just recently my deadlift. But if we were relying on bench, I'd be something else entirely.
Like, I'm actually working I wasn't working as hard as I am now, as people know, just to get when they get their lift to a certain point, just getting those gains even more, you've got to work even harder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It gets harder to progress over time. Like, for sure, that's one thing. And people kind of, I don't think people don't realize, but they understand that, you know, you actually have to work harder for less. Yeah. At a certain point.
And so that's where people probably go out of the sport.
100%. Yeah,
very true. Like juniors, I mean, look at progress heaps, and then all of a sudden they hit a wall.
JP Kauke, like he released his chart, so he didn't PB for years, and I think it was like 2 years, and then, you know, he got some PBs, and then, you know, he stagnated again, and, you know, but he still trains hard and consistently. But that, you know, a lot of people be like, oh fuck, man, this is too hard. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Maybe I'm done. Well, no, you just got to stick with it, and, you know, realize sometimes you are going to go a fair whack of time without getting like a big PB, but that's okay. It'll come. It's just about doing the work over and over.
It's like it's part of the game.
It's a boring sport over time. Like, you know, that's what people like.
That's where it gets hard.
Like, I was talking to someone recently, and they were like, you know, I just want training to be fun, and you know, and they want to be a high level lifter, and like, and this isn't anyone I coach, but they're like, I just want training to be fun. And if they listen, they'll know, and they're probably going to get a bit annoyed. But they're like, I just want it to be fun, you know. But the sessions are just hard. I'm doing all these movements I'm not good at, and I'm like, yeah, like, that's what you need. That's the whole point. That's what you need to do. That's kind of the point. Like, if you want to get better, like, you need to do your pause heads. You need to do, like, you know, like, you're not going to sit there and just do stuff you enjoy. That's not how you progress. Like, I'm sure you'd love to just go in there and do 9 squats, Kev. Like I would. Like, I'd love to go in there and do squat.
But I love the challenge of doing, like, making my weaknesses stronger.
Yeah, and that's what separates, I think, people that go really far, and because it is a long-lived sport, right? Like, it's people that want to improve where they aren't good.
It's funny because I think, like,
where they are weaker, I should say. Not
at the end of the day, we are just moving a bar and then putting it back in the same spot, but it's also the atmosphere. So, like, when you train in a place where, you know, you enjoy the people's company and you have that's why we had this podcast about training partners and why it's so important, because it just, like, gives you this other drive because it's entertaining while you're training, because you talk shit, you talk about what you did in the day or that week, what happened. If you go to a gym where a lot of people are doing a similar sport to you, you have like-minded people around you. It just definitely makes it way more entertaining, where that boring side of the sport becomes entertaining anyway, because it's
and
around.
I'm really when I find a place I enjoy training at with people I enjoy training with, I'll let you know so you can come train with me. Kev.
Like that's a good point actually, because I'm training at a commercial gym now, and mentally it gets really tough when there's no one around you doing what you're doing, and fortunately there's been a couple of people that I've made friends with, and they've noticed me and they've sort of helped me out, but it does get tough at times, because just not having someone there cheering you on, or especially when you're in your peak cycle and you're just dreading these 95 or 98% lifts, and it's like it's like the last thing you want to do, working all day and then no one's there to amp you up.
There's so much
and the other thing is and they can't relate, or you got someone that's like, hey man, let's train together, and you're like, cool man, but you're squatting 100 kilos, I'm squatting 250, well, that's all good and well, I will train with you, that doesn't mean I don't want to train with you. You're not going to be able to relate, you're not going to know what I need to be motivated, you're not going to know the difference is when you're feeling a little bit shit and I'm feeling a little bit shit,
the intensity
you might miss maybe get 5 reps on 80 kilos and miss one, and that's all good and well, but if I'm not feeling good and don't have that good atmosphere I'm using an example here, I'm going to miss 240 kilos, it's a lot bigger of a deal, and
and
you need
that's
people
a big
that can spot.
That's a big mental game going into a comp.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be surrounded by that good crew that motivates you, and
because if you miss that
understands
that
what you
squat,
need.
You comp.
The other thing is, I see you squat, and I'm always amazed because you squat no spotters, you did 220, 230 kilo double last training cycle, 225 kilos I think training double easy, but no spotters, that also messes with you mentally too.
And I did 240 without spotters as well. Two sets of singles.
It does make it extra impressive though. When you see someone squatting or deadlifting.
It's just the mental strength you need for that, man. I unracked 300, and my first words out of my mouth all the time are stay close. Imagine unracking.
It's the what if.
Yeah. Well, if you get caught out, that's gonna either mess you up pretty bad, but I'm lucky that I don't have far to fall, so it's not so bad. If you got,
that was a good one.
If Anthony did it, it'll be pretty scary.
I have done
it. Right, so, what's your best piece of advice for new lifters to the sport?
Well, as I said earlier, get a good coach. If you really want to be serious, get a good coach. Learn the technique, how to do all the movements properly. And then the progression will come, and just stick at it. I think that's what being consistent is
very
a huge thing too.
There's a lot of people are very naive to training the right way, and we're always improving the way that we're program and coaching. It's continuing learning. But it's true, before you get into powerlifting, you think you know how to squat, or you think you know how to bench and deadlift, but you don't.
Yeah.
There is so much more to it, and a lot of people don't realize that. And when they get a coach, it's when the turning point into how.
I want to point out that almost everyone that's come on that we've asked that question has given very similar answers, and people are going to be like, oh, they just say the same thing. You're like, well, that's because that's what you need to hear, though. That's what works. That's what makes you strong. Consistency, good form, getting a good coach.
Yeah.
Almost everyone's given the same answers.
And we pay them to say it, but
well, that's besides the point.
And people think it's easy. It's not. It's not as easy as it looks. That's for sure. That people think, they're just lifting the bar once.
Yeah, well, but there's thousands of reps that go into building that motor pattern and building that strength, and
everything behind the scenes. Yeah,
all that eating.
Oh, diet. It's true. It's the training's the fun part.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, making sure you're sleeping enough.
Oh man, we got to stop staying up playing Age of Empires. We've done that 2 days in a row now, where we've stayed up playing Age of Empires, and I'm getting 6-7 hours sleep, and I'm just wrecked.
That's a lot of sleep.
Lift a lot of weight.
Right, you definitely notice a lack of sleep.
Yeah, 100%.
Sleep and nutrition is huge.
Yeah. So you stick to the KFC and stuff, huh?
Oh, that's amazing stuff.
That KFC
I've still got
that
leeway.
saturated fat diet.
Oh yeah, it's true. Like, you're underweight, I'm overweight. Right now I'm like 3.5 kilos over comp weight, 3 kilos over comp weight. 5 weeks.
So we're coming in close, but we're 5 weeks out of the Strength Fortress Open, and we're both like 2-3 kilos above weight.
Yeah, but 2-3 kilos for me is not as bad as 2-3 kilos
Yeah,
for you.
exactly.
So, 123.
That's right, man. I dropped my calories to 1800.
1800.
That's the thing. I've dropped my calories.
Just joking, man.
I've just dropped my calories to 5,000.
Yeah,
So we got
just to 5,000.
We've got some. I'm hungry, guys.
I don't think I could ever eat 5,000 calories.
That's why you won't squat 325, brother. Not because the fact that you're 58 kilos.
I don't think I'll be able to walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, to sum it up, do you have any good powerlifting stories? Could be about yourself, someone else.
Oh, it was quite funny. Like, I find my warm-ups the worst in like any lead up in comps or anything like that. I find them really hard. Like the day of before I got the world record, because there were plates all over the ground, and they were the same sort of cast iron plates, and I unracked the squat. I unracked the bar in the warm-up room. It just felt off, and I was like, I thought it was just in my head, and yeah, I got told shut up and squat it, and so I did, and I was like, it doesn't feel right, and it really messed up with my head. But I found out that it was one plate was a 20 kilo plate and one was a 25. It was the old cast ones, so I couldn't tell.
Oh,
They
no.
were like slightly thicker, I think. Yeah. But that's probably.
And it's not what you want going. Was that your last warm up?
Yeah.
That's not what you want going out there. Thinking like, hey, everything feels off today. Like, they're going for a world record.
It's like dipping on one side.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's happening? Just shut up. Just go do it.
Yeah, but just things like that. I haven't really seen anything funny happen.
Well, considering you train by yourself, I mean,
Oh,
have you ever been stuck onto a bench by yourself?
no.
No.
I put the safeties on,
Smart man.
but I'm just sick of seeing quarter squats though. Jesus, they piss me off.
Oh, man.
Like there's just too many ego lifters putting on heaps of weight and not even doing quarter, like it's like a hip thrust standing up type thing.
And then Kev rocks up, loads up 200 kilos, does reps, and he's like, hey man, you need help with that, 80 kilo squat.
Yeah, they're just working their glutes, man.
Yeah.
And lockout. You do board press, so we do quarter squat.
Yeah, exactly. Tit for tat, I suppose.
That's it.
All right, well, you can follow Kevin on Instagram and Little Mr. Squat. And he's on Facebook. He's still posting on Facebook. He's holding true.
He is in his 30s, so it makes sense. I just want to say, so, we're getting people commenting on some of these videos now and everything, which is good. So if every single one of you go out of your way to follow Kevin, you might get like an extra 15 or 20 followers.
Woohoo!
Yeah, no. We're doing better than that. You might get like 22, 23.
Well, in reality, most of the people who watch this would follow you anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone, hey, what's up, Casey? Like, they're all from this gym. But it's been good having you on.
Yeah, thanks for coming over. I know it's like an hour and a half away, so.
Yeah, true. Kev drove an hour and a half.
Yeah, well, no,
Kev
thank
and
you
Ash.
for the opportunity. And it's good to visit Apex Strength.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
really good gym.
Cheers,
And if you want to get good coaches, you got two of them sitting in front of you.
Thanks, man. Hey, I'll set you up with that money later, right?
Yeah, we do what we can.
Endorsed
Around the table.
endorsed by one of the best squatters in the world. How about that?
Yeah. All right.
No.
It'll be good to have you on again one
It's been
day.
good.
It's good. Been good.
Cheers. Oh, my legs.
Yeah. So, Nationals next year. That's what you got, right?